سلام، من ثانیه دعوه بشری. خلال ما شما از گذر ما جدا نمانیم، ما از گذر اتباعی نمانیم درمان داشته باشم. آقایشان و آقای دیگلس آگاهی آمد درباره اسکمرها براتون میتن، کلاهبردارا براتون میتن، درباره موبایل میتن، چرا موبایلتون استفاده بکنین، کدام موبایل ها امن تر است. Hey Douglas and hey Sean. So what's new today?
So we have a pretty important public announcement. So this is about, I want to say 72, 96 hours old. But the Taliban we have credible intelligence that says that the Taliban now has the capability to monitor all incoming and outgoing phone traffic, and then map that to like a social graph and be able to reconstruct, so do the kind of stuff that, you know, Edward Snowden said that we've been doing all this time, and and now are sold off the shelf products. So they now have that technical support and have that capability, and it's a game changer for them right now.
So how they are tracking the cell phones? Which software they're using? How the people should know that their phones are getting tracked?
So now the phones themselves have been, like, the data is always reporting to the communications company. They have to know where your cell phone is at all times in order to broadcast and receive data from it. The big change now is that they now have the software to be able to comb through and reassemble all of that data into meaningful data. So they can now figure out, like, oh, this person is connected to all these different people. That means they must be General so-and-so, or they must be this activist, or they must be this, teacher or something like that. So it's the fact that the software now allows them to pinpoint those people on a mass scale, and then they can prioritize and triage who they want to go after.
So what do people should do that? Which cell phone is good for them to use? A smartphone, old phone, or which kind of phone they should use in the field?
So the other new thing about this is that it's this isn't just a hack that goes on top of the existing infrastructure. It's the actual infrastructure that is communicating the data to their new software and allowing them. So it's not something that you can easily get around. It's actually quite cumbersome to get around. The method that we have, the best solution that we have, is not a great solution, is to go with an old Nokia brick phone. So if you just Google Nokia brick phone, you'll get a dozen versions and images. And what's important about that is that they can still know who you are. They'll still know who you're connected to. They just won't know where you are specifically, because those brick phones don't have a GPS chip in them. And your smartphone or your tablet, sometimes even your computer, is reporting back metadata, and one of those pieces of metadata is location data. So,
has anyone become a victim of this operation in the past 76 or 96 hours ago? Has anyone got caught by Taliban, or just?
I don't know.
I haven't heard of anybody getting caught, but it just makes sense that they're developing the network and looking at this computer screen to see which cell phone numbers have the most calls from the US or from Australia or from any of the other neighboring countries, because that person is probably going to be a facilitator of some form, whether it's money, whether it's logistic supplies. So right now it's a big collection and an analysis that's going into building out that network.
So our people can use the burner phone. If someone contact the evacuation companies or someone in the United States, so what phone they should use to just destroy it immediately, or they should throw it away from their house if they're using a cell phone?
If I was there, what I would do, and what I'm advising that people do, is they wipe their smartphones completely. They take their SIM card out and they go and sell it in the market. The IMEI number is a serial number that's attached to the hardware device itself, the phone, the smartphone, the tablet, the whatever the device is. Even these dumb brick phones have IMEI numbers. So once that thing is burned and it's associated with you, if you are still carrying around, even if you wipe it and create a new social media account, they still have that bit of data that links that IMEI number back to you and your network. But if you throw it out and sell it in the market, in another town or province, someone else picks that up, and then they erroneously, swap someone for someone else, and it confuses their algorithms, and so it then is cleaned or scrubbed at that point. So it's okay to have a smartphone. You just don't want to use it if you don't want them to know where your exact location is. So if you're not a high value target, if you're not worried, fine, use a smartphone, like go crazy. But if you're worried and you're in a safe house or you're on the run, that's reporting who you are and where you are simultaneously.
Yeah, you mentioned about safe houses. We are receiving everyday phone calls and email and messages on Facebook. Also, you can see it. People are contacting us from safe house. They say, hey, we are in Kabul. This place, this safe house belongs to this company. One day evacuation will be happening. So is it a smart thing to contact from safe house, outside of safe house, even out of Afghanistan, someone, and ask about the evacuation process via phone?
Doug, do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, so bottom line up front, the furthest away from that phone you can get, especially a smartphone, the better off you'll be. There's a reason Osama bin Laden never touched a phone. Okay, the technology's that good. He instead used couriers. But for the average Afghan, making calls from the house, taking pictures of the house, scanning documents, updating Facebook, not a good idea, because then that, for the reasons Sean has stated, is identifying not only you, but where you're located, when you were last there, and then who your family and friends are. And that's the key takeaway, right? Is not only if you're a facilitator, but we know your brother might be a facilitator as well as your cousin and brother-in-law, right? We don't want to let that information out. We want to be as simple and as law-abiding as we possibly can.
So the people who are in a safe house, what they should do? Should they use a Facebook? Should they still they can use a Facebook, still they can use a WhatsApp, they still can use the Signal, or they should not use any social media?
None whatsoever.
Yeah, this software incorporates all of that. It'll suck all that in as well. And it just uses it as a component of your social graph. It'll use any social media you have, any phone calls, anything it can get a hold of, and that they can place on basically on a graph network of you. Doesn't matter if you change your name. Doesn't matter if you create fake, or if you create a fake name, fake picture, all this sort of stuff. Because you tend to connect with the same people, and you tend to go to the same websites for the same amount of time. You tend to, be like on your games. Exactly, same games. You're on it and off it in the same sort of pattern. That creates a fingerprint that is unique to you. And if you're on it, you're creating that fingerprint. You're putting it out there, and you're putting it in there. They can say, General so-and-so, they got rid of that smartphone, but now they're on this computer over here, and they're doing the same sort of things. They're going to CNN, and they're going to this other website, and all these things, and now we know he's up in Kandahar or something like that, So unfortunately, no, which is a big change from just a few days ago.
So they should not use a smartphone at the safe houses. They should not expose their notification. If they expose, the same thing happened to them, right?
Yeah, so this is a really big change, and it puts a really big kink in a lot of the operations that us and our sister organizations have been doing, because a lot of the communications that we've been doing is through email, through LinkedIn or Facebook or WhatsApp or something like that. all those things are unfortunately can now be incorporated into your graph. So we do have a few mitigation methods. So one is if someone contacts you, for example. So this is a way to kind of avoid being scammed or snatched. If someone contacts you, because it is laborious to go out into the world, for the Taliban to go out in the world and snatch someone, so they would prefer that they come to them. So if they can use some information about them to get them, to trick them into coming to them, they'd much rather just sit by and have a bunch of people come by that they can arrest and then interrogate, rather than have to like find you and go after you and maybe you run away or get in a car or something like that. That's a pain in the ass. That's risky. So one of the things to look for is none of our organizations, the State Department, as far as I know, the State Department, none of our sister organizations will reach out to you. No one. We do not have any agents on the ground. The State Department does not have agents on the ground that are going around and saying, hey, you so-and-so, give us money and we'll evacuate you now. There's nothing like that happening. There are scammers out there that are using our names. So they're using, Operation 620 or Operation North Star or something like that. They're using those in their scams, and they're saying like, "Hey, look, see, I'm on their website," or "Hey, look, see, I'm," and it's just photoshopped, or it's just their name dropping, or this or that. And that's the thing is we don't have the manpower to be able to reach out to people. We don't have the time. We are so inundated with incoming requests, we cannot. So if someone reaches out to you, it's very likely a scam.
So here's an interesting point. We've been doing this for almost 5-6 months now. So the request for documents and the preservation of documents is key, and quite honestly, it's pretty much done, right? Meaning whoever wanted, desired to leave Afghanistan, had a claim into some visa category, has already transmitted their documents. So the fear of taking your phone, your smartphone, and getting rid of the SIM card and then selling the thing at the market and getting another one, the fear of not losing your documents is false, right? By and large, a lot of that's already been handled by Digital Dunkirk, our efforts, and other complementary efforts. So in the rare instance, we'll reach out to your sponsor or your U.S. Partner that helped you fill out the paperwork in the beginning to fill in some of those missing gaps if we need some information. But by then, you can relay that over a brick, right? It's easy to do. So the big fear of, oh my gosh, I don't have pictures of my documents, can't prove who I am, that's a myth. So don't let that stop you. I would go dumb, meaning go get a brick and a dumb phone and use that, right? Doesn't have the GPS, doesn't have the smartware, doesn't have the firmware, any of these other gee whiz things that get you in trouble.
Yeah, you mentioned about we have no agent on the field. No one is on the field, and we are not contacting anyone. And Douglas, you also say that if you're missing a document, we are going to contact your sponsor or recommend your person. But and since like 4 or 5 months or 3 months, there is a lot of Afghan activists. They're calling themselves activists, came up, and as social media, they brought 2-3 Americans, a school teacher, to do public awareness about Afghanistan evacuation. Like Sean, I know that you never work in Afghanistan. It's still you asking Douglas what's going on in the field, right? But the school teacher cannot give advice how to save their lives. Are they, Douglas? No. And also they're asking people, send us your document and your questions. We are going to contact Senate and Congress to evacuate you from Afghanistan or Abu Dhabi. What are you talking about? What do you think about this subject? Is it still, we call it scammer people, or we call different names we have for that kind of people?
Well, yeah, we still want to classify them as scammers, right? Because they are preying on the vulnerability of the folks that are less informed. Okay. By and large, we got into this business because of our affiliation with a lot of the Army and Tejas and commandos and the counterterrorism folks. But it's certainly spread, and I could certainly see in your scenario where a teacher wouldn't necessarily know the difference, right? She just sees or he just sees a Westerner and thinks, oh, okay, they must be good. Okay. But so the flags should be first and foremost, we'll never ask for money. Not from the Afghan family we're helping, right? It's just not going to happen. We understand you're kicked out of your job, your house, you're saving every penny you have to buy food for the kids. We understand that. Matter of fact, we're trying to get more money so we can help with that problem. So there's no reason any legitimate scammer or a legitimate organization is going to ask for any money. The purpose of a scammer is to do that, to scam or trap you, scam you out of money or trap you on behalf of the Taliban, right? No other reason.
So you mean
I will actually, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Doug, I will say that there still are expenses, and we ran out of money. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah.
We ran out of money, like even petty cash, a couple of times. And so sometimes we'll get donations from third parties, but sometimes we do actually ask the people who are moving to pay their own expenses if they have the means.
Yeah.
Or put together a support network with like friends and family or something like that. But it's not a profit-driven thing. It's
right,
not like, hey,
it's not like, hey, give me $5,000, give me 10 grand, we got a seat for you. It's, hey, give me $10, we got to move you from one place to the next, or
Exactly.
Yeah, the phone issue mentioned. The most of Afghans are receiving a call. They said, "Hey, I am calling you from behalf of Operation 602 Money. We have a flight scheduled on 27 February, 25 February. You have to pay $15,000 to that person. Then we can register you with the same case happen." So how they can have access of the people who are getting killed in a field, and how these scammers know the list of these people. Like now we write up for evacuation. He's available for evacuation. So are they friends or families are getting exposed their list to scammers to contact me or someone else?
So there's a bunch of lists out there, right? And which one is more correct? Which one is accurate? Everybody wants to leave. Everybody that's applied wants to leave. Otherwise, they wouldn't apply. And they provided as much information as they could, to include emails and phone numbers and the like. But the key takeaway is there's only one organization that's allowed to contact eligible Afghans that are allowed to leave. Okay, so it won't be us. It won't be Operation 620. It'll be a representative from the hashtag Afghan evac coalition. And so we have a coalition of 100 plus organizations under the umbrella, and depending on the mandate for the different flights, we supply our inputs to the central database, and it gets manifested. So you have one person, one organization, one voice that manifested. We have an input to it.
Right.
And so they, on behalf of the United States, will reach out, not us.
Yeah. Actually, can I, there's a couple of things that I just want to make sure that we get through here. One is, I think a lot of people don't know that the +1 phone code, which is designation from the US, that does not signify that it is an authentic person from America. It may, but it's actually very inexpensive to get a +1 area code through there's services. You can Google them. How do I get an American phone number? You can pay a small monthly fee and you can have a virtual phone number. And you can connect that to like WhatsApp, and then you can message people, put in a fake profile picture, have a script that the scammer will run. So that could be the Taliban, or it could be a scammer. do not use their area code as a way to verify their authenticity and veracity. And that's one thing. The second thing, which has to do with phone numbers, is the DSN number. So the DSN system, what does it stand for? It's Defense.
Defense Switching Network.
Defense
Switching Network.
So the Defense Switching Network is like my understanding is it's like sort of a parallel phone network, and it came up, I guess, during the Cold War or something like that as like a way to avoid crises, you know, like that might blow up the entire world. So anyway, so they put them in embassies and places like this, bases. And when the US left, that network, all those cables, all that infrastructure was pretty much left in place. And so these DSN numbers can pop up and you can get a call from them and they look like, oh, wow, this is a DSN number. If you know what that is, you might think that that is also a way to authenticate the source. Like a +1 country code, you know, might mean that it's an American, not necessarily. Same thing with this. A DSN number does not necessarily mean that it is coming from the official US government.
Okay, so so the people should not, if they're on the risk of high volume target, they should not use a smartphone. Also, they should switch their phone and their SIM cards, everything. Anything else they can do to save their life?
Probably some of the most common scams that we've seen are a call from the embassy. Hey, meet us at the Serena Hotel. We got a flight ready to go for you. The number one, and it comes from the embassy. Well, the U.S. embassy doesn't really exist there anymore, but the building does, the phone lines do, and it's just new occupants. But that we've seen that scam work quite effectively historically to bring a bunch of people that are on their Rolodex down to, let's say, their Serena Hotel, and now you got people that show up thinking they're going to be evacuated and aren't. Now they're there for questioning, right? So that scam works quite well.
Signal?
Yeah, walking off Signal. Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry, no, go ahead.
The WhatsApp's pretty convenient messenger. A lot of people, especially in Afghanistan, use it frequently. It's cheap and inexpensive to talk to friends and families in the United States. But that, just like Facebook and Instagram, they've all been compromised. Messenger. So despite the false sense of security, it's all been compromised. So assume the Taliban or ISI or Connie are listening to your conversation. We encourage folks to get off WhatsApp and move to Signal. Signal's a pretty robustly encrypted software, has the same features as Messenger or even WhatsApp, right? And with the video teleconferencing and stuff like that, operates the same. But more importantly, it's more secure.
Yeah. And so Instagram, TikTok, maybe even LinkedIn, we're not sure if that's secure or not. We just have to assume that it's not, especially if it's your life or your family's life at stake. Just assume that it's not.
Right.
Pretty much any social media. Stay off of WhatsApp groups. Stay off of big groups. Don't keep American phone numbers in your phone. If you get stopped randomly at a checkpoint or someone just decides they don't like the look of you and they want to grab your phone, the first thing they're going to do is look through your contacts and look for a +1 in there. And if you do, that leads to more questions, and then that leads to more questions, and then smarter people with more complicated questions come in. So there's a bunch of dumb people out there who are basically like just scanning for that one little trigger. Is there a +1 number in there? And if there is, well, they got someone, then they're going to take it to their boss, and their boss is going to take it to their boss, and maybe they got a big fish. So that would be the last thing that I would add.
So the people who got scammed by the scammers, which today I had one case also. Mm-hmm. So to whom they should report it, that people? Is any legitimate email address? They should email it and say, hey, Naweed is contacting me on behalf of this organization. I already transferred him $20,000, $15,000. Could you please verify if he or she is working with me? Is any legitimate email addresses coming soon for the people to contact the collation of the evacuation organization?
It's a good question. Maybe we should set something up. So, I mean, if we identify, so we just, just yesterday, we put up a new page on our website, operation620.org, that says scammers, right? And we're gonna basically name and shame scammers. So we're gonna put burned phone numbers, like phone numbers that are known nefarious actors, like different scams that we hear about, like their script or something like that. We can put all those things up. But to your question, Naweed, is there a way that they could verify whether it's a scam or not? And I don't know that there necessarily is something set up for us. Doug, what do you think about that?
And that's just it, right? It's uncharted territory, even for us, right? We're doing our best. And to be sure, to your point, we have sample numbers that have been used previously in an attempt to scam, but I don't think we developed any official way to check emails, right? Or collect and scrape emails and kind of.
Here's what I'd say. Here's what I'd say. Naweed, check in at the end of next week, and we'll have a solution to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the scammers are now, we made a scene to scammers should run after us to expose their identification now. So people are contacting me from a different state and Kabul too. Now the cost of evacuation is $30,000 for United States. They are charging people $30,000. For Canada, $17,000. And people are paying money to that scammers. And that scammers say, oh, I'm working with this evacuation, like this organization. I say, this is not legitimate. You are not legitimate. Nobody is asking you money, $15,000 for donation. $15,000 for donation. Yeah. So that's why I asked if in the future.
No, that in fact is illegal to do. For nonprofits in the U.S. Or at least that's what our counsel indicated the last we talked with her. She said that that fee for service type thing is not the way that nonprofits are allowed to work. Yeah.
So anything else?
That's it for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hit everything on minus. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in, and it's a big change. That we want to stress that this is a sea change. This is an absolute huge change from even a few days ago. Yeah. So things you were doing, things you got comfortable doing over the last few months, it's completely changed now. And there's a drag net that's dropping around. It's called this boa constrictor method, right? The boa constrictor moves in really slow and lets the prey get really comfortable, and then it grabs onto them. And that's what's going to happen. They're probably not going to go out and start grabbing people tomorrow. They're probably going to wait maybe a week, 2 weeks, a couple months. But then they're going to simultaneously sweep and get all of the highest value targets they can.
Okay. Thank you.